Health leaders have released new details about that Salmonella outbreak in Estill County. You'll hear from a man whose great-granddaughter is now in the hospital after getting sick.
New tonight, the Louisville men's basketball team is speaking out about the program's postseason ban.
A father and his son are beat up and left for dead. I'll tell you who police are looking for.
This is WKYT News at 11.
And good evening. The weekend is here, and if you have anything to do outside, well, this would be the weekend to do it because the weather's going to cooperate.
Some milder air is moving in for us. We begin with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey and your no-wait weather forecast. Chris?
Yeah, starting out that weekend with a little high cloud cover out there, clear skies across northern Kentucky. Overall, though, putting the wraps on a very nice Friday across central and eastern Kentucky. Those late evening thermometers into the low 30s and even freezing Lexington, Frankfort, and in Mount Sterling. Let's hit the fast forward button on your car thermometer. 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. It's upper 20s to low 30s. Look how quickly, though, those numbers jump by noon into the 40s. How about tomorrow afternoon? 45 to 50 across much of central and eastern Kentucky. Making those plans for your Saturday evening. Thermometers will drop into the low and mid 30s by this time tomorrow night. Very similar to where we are out there right now. Here's a little better breakdown of that forecast. Frosty cold in the morning, then milder coming up tomorrow afternoon with a breeze that kicks in. Mix of sun and clouds. Overall, a spectacular looking Saturday across central and eastern Kentucky. However, we've got winter coming back, and at 11:10, I'm going to track the snow potential into central and eastern Kentucky. We'll even talk about possible snow totals.
Chris, thank you. Tonight, part of the mystery has been solved. Tonight, Estill County leaders say a recent spike in illnesses is due to a Salmonella outbreak.
They say they have nearly 20 confirmed cases right now, but even more people are sick. New tonight, our Garrett Weimer talked to a man whose 10-year-old great-granddaughter is in the hospital. It's our top story at 11.
It's hard for Butch Arvin to get his mind off of what his great-granddaughter's going through.
We'd be at a funeral right now over stuff like that. That is totally uncalled for.
It's an all too common story here. The health department's confirmed 19 cases of salmonella. 6 have put people in the hospital.
The one thing that they do have in common, they had all eaten at the same establishment, but they had also eaten at other establishments also.
With 19 confirmed cases, there should have been something sending signals real quick. Something's going on, and they need to find the source of what's going on. Shut the places down.
But they're not shutting anything down, not yet.
If we need to, we will shut them down in a heartbeat. Once we're determined that was the cause of the problem.
The county judge executive reassured folks that there's no reason for people here to be afraid to go eat at any of the local restaurants. In fact, he says he'd be the first one to go back. County officials are not naming names at this point as they wait on more results from the state lab. Meanwhile, Butch Arvin's waiting to see his great-granddaughter again.
Well, I'll just be glad when she gets home so that I can be there with her and just hold her in my arms and love her to death like I do.
In Estill County, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
The health department says symptoms of salmonella are similar to those of a virus, also going around the county right now.
New tonight, investigators are trying to figure out what led to a crash in Bourbon County. It happened around 8:30 tonight on Russell Cave Road near Townsend Valley Road. Police say a car ran off the road and hit a tree. Police say the woman driving the car had serious injuries to her face and was airlifted to UK Hospital. Her condition is not known, but police say she was responsive. Russell Cave Road was closed for more than an hour, but has since reopened. The University of Louisville men's basketball team will be staying home during tournament play this year. Today, the university announced a self-imposed postseason ban. It's part of the fallout from a sex scandal. And tonight, 2 graduate transfers on the team talked about U of L's decision. Brian Milam joins us now with their comments. New at 11, Brian.
Amber, that self-imposed ban is just for this season at the moment, but it covers both the ACC tournament and the NCAA tournament. U of L President James Ramsey said earlier today it was reasonable to conclude violations had occurred within the program. This all stems from the escort scandal that broke last fall in Katina Powell's book, Breaking Cardinal Rules. Tonight, Damian Lee and Trey Lewis, two graduate students, players who transferred to Louisville just to play this season, talked about the postseason ban with their teammates behind them in support.
We were both hurt and devastated as soon as we heard this, because we both feel like we don't deserve this. This team doesn't deserve this.
I can definitely speak for the both of us and say that there's no other place in the world that we would rather go, no other school in the country that we would rather go to, no other coach, no other team that we would rather play for and play with than the guys that we have right here with us.
Now, Louisville coach Rick Pitino also speaking to the media today. You will hear what he had to say coming up in Game Time.
We will see you then, Brian. Thank you. Louisville's president said the university will continue to cooperate with the NCAA. He wouldn't give any specific details about the investigation, saying he couldn't do that while it was ongoing.
Tonight, Richmond police need your help tracking down two people accused of attacking a father and son. The victims say they knew one of the suspects and even allowed her to stay in their home before the attack. New at 11, Monique Blair talks to the victims.
Christian Connor and his dad, Doug Connor, couldn't say no when a family acquaintance needed a warm place to stay the night before the big snowstorm.
He said, Dad, it's too cold outside, you can't freeze outside.
Everything went well for about a week until last Thursday when Connor says the woman, Christy Mullins, brought her boyfriend, David Sizemore, over to the house, a man neither of them had met before.
He was crazy when he came in here.
Connor says without reason, both Mullins and Sizemore started attacking his dad, who was asleep on the couch.
They used a ball bat.
I couldn't see, I had so much blood running down my eyes.
And then they went for Connor. Connor says after the two beat he and his dad up, they stole their cell phones and some cash.
I honestly think that they thought when they left that they thought they had killed us.
But Connor managed to find help.
I crawled across the street to the neighbors and used the phone.
The two men spent nearly 5 days at UK Hospital.
There's over 50 staples in my head.
Are you in pain?
Honey, I'm hurting all over. I hurt from my toes. I mean, I'm black and blue all over.
Now, Richmond police have warrants and are actively searching for 26-year-old Christy Mullins and David Sizemore. But at this time, both suspects are on the run.
Pray to the good Lord that I sure don't want nothing to happen to him, But I feel blessed.
In Madison County, Monique Blair, WKYT.
Richmond police say Sizemore faces assault and robbery charges, while Mullins faces robbery and complicity to assault charges.